Okay, so
Can you hear me slurping on my...
probably. Cheers.
Cheers. Tea.
Okay, so I'm going to briefly address the camera, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so we just got done with our first day at the, what's it called?
Wairarapa Wool Weekend.
Okay, it's Friday night. And we just finished the first day at the Wairarapa Wool Weekend. So I started this morning by waking up at 4:30 a.m., getting a flight, which is only a 45-minute flight from Auckland to Wellington, but there's a very limited number of flights, so I had to get the 6:45 a.m. one. And then arrived in Wellington, and then we drove up here. I think the actual event started yesterday, but we didn't come yesterday. And then we arrived, and I took some B-roll, so I'll put all that in there. But we arrived, and we saw the vendors, and then we chatted to some people, and then I went and did a class with Gudrun for like 3 hours.
Well, I stayed
Well,
and talked.
you made some purchases.
Well, I did make a little purchase, but that was only like 20 minutes of the 3 hours.
Yeah.
The rest of the time I spent just catching up with people I haven't seen in a long time.
Socializing.
I know.
It's hard work.
Oh, it's exhausting work, but such fulfilling work.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, it's good to see
was
other
really
fibery
good.
people. Yeah. Okay, so quickly, can I hand you my tea?
Sure.
And then I'll trade you later.
Okay.
Okay, so
Sorry about the slurping.
that's okay. So when we arrived, they gave us these cute tote bags. And within there, I haven't actually looked at everything that's in there, but I know there's a cute notebook with the logo on it.
James did a very
James did
wonderful...
such a great job organizing. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can tell he put so much love and effort into organizing
It's a
everything.
really, really great little venue.
And getting all these cool, like, custom things made is fantastic. And I haven't been to Greytown before, but it's a very cute town. It's all kind of old-timey and historic.
Some really nice shops.
Yeah.
Caught up with Emma from Miss Maud, one of my favorite shops.
A shop I have shopped online but never been to in real life, so excited to go this weekend. I will just show quickly what I got from my workshop with Gudrun. Which is, the workshop was about this hapkerchief. Sorry. It's like a handkerchief? Hapkerchief?
Handkerchief.
Very cute. And we each got to pick 4 colors of Shetland yarn of, Jameson's.
I love the colors you picked. Very autumn.
It was very cool. They just had all these bins of yarn and they just like dumped it out on the table and everyone was just, it was like candy, but better than candy,
Very tactile.
Yeah. So these are my 4 colors. I don't know if I'm close enough to be able to do that thing.
You gotta do the thing where you like hold them and you like tap your nails on them.
Okay, and this is my beginning of my handkerchief. So I will say this. This is a cowl, like basically it's a cowl would be what I would call it. So it's kind of in the shape of a hap, which is a triangle shawl, which is a traditional sort of Shetland style of shawl, is what I've learned.
Yeah.
But she made it smaller, so it's like a cowl version. So I think that was quite clever. And I like cowls that are like this. It's, you know, bigger at the bottom. You start at the bottom and then you decrease while you're
You
going up.
designed one like that, the
I did.
brioche one. I can't remember what
Earth
it's called.
Shades cowl.
Yeah, it's beautiful. That
I
one.
love that
Yeah.
shape. Yeah.
This is like a sort of smaller, shorter version. Yeah.
And I might make mine a little longer so it covers more of my neck. But she said we have enough yarn that we could make 2 of these if we wanted to. So I'll have plenty if I want to make it longer. But yeah, I picked these like autumnal colors. I will say I learned 2 new things at my workshop today. Let's see if these are new things for you as well. So this is a garter stitch cowl, but if you don't want to purl, what do you do?
Oh. Well, you reverse it?
Yeah. So you do short rows.
Yeah.
So it's a simple idea. Obviously I've done short rows before, but it's just never occurred to me. If I do garter stitch in the round, I just knit around and purl around, whatever. But a lot of people don't like purling, and Gudrun was saying that apparently it's quite common that Shetland knitters dislike purling because most of Shetland knitting is in the round because they steek everything. They steek all the colorwork stuff, and then they make all their shawls flat in garter. So everything they're doing is knitting. And she was saying this was a bit of a nod to them because they don't like purling. And I don't mind purling, but I still thought it was really a clever idea because it's so simple. It never occurred to me. You just, at the end of the beginning of every round, you just do a wrap and turn and then turn around. So you're just constantly knitting back and forth with a wrap and turn instead of your traditional circular knitting. So that was like a new idea.
Could you do that with the body of a sweater, do you think?
Yeah, I don't see why not. There's a little bit of a seam where you're doing the wrap and turns. Like there's a little bit of a visible. Yeah, just hide it somewhere.
Yeah.
You could 100% do it. If you want to do a garter stitch, anything that's a garter stitch
In the round.
You just do a wrap and turn. So I thought that was smart. So I learned that. And then the other thing Gudrun showed us, which again is like, I just hadn't really thought of this before, but you know, I always split splice my yarn when I'm changing balls of yarn in the same color. But what she was showing us was if you want to split splice when you're changing from one color to the next, you don't want to have any ends to weave in. You, well, you basically wrap it a certain amount of times to plan where you're gonna join the colors so that you make sure it's in the right spot. But then you put them together, oh, it's hard to explain. You put them together in an X and then loop them back so that you have an exact placement where the color changes.
Okay.
Rather than normally you would lay the one color on top of the other color and put them together, then you'd have like a blended section. Instead you like cross them over and then they go back on themselves. And basically what you've done is so you stop like 10 stitches before you're gonna turn. You wrap it 10 times. Then you know you have the right amount of yarn. Then you have a little bit more for that little bit where you cross it over. Then you just knit to the end of the round and it lines up pretty well. And then your new color just comes out. Like you can't really see too badly when I've been doing that.
That's pretty nifty. You'll have to show like...
I might demo it,
or once you have done like a few, show them what it looks like.
It's harder to explain than I thought it would be. But that was cool because, you know, this project is not unfamiliar to me. This concept wasn't unfamiliar to me, but those 2 little techniques were ones I never thought of before. So that was cool. And it was just fun doing a workshop. I've never in my life ever attended a knitting workshop before. And I just wanted to see what it was all about. I've taught them before, but I've never attended them before. Can I have my tea back?
You can. I guarded it well.
Thank you.
Am I showing people what I got?
Yeah. What did you get?
Well,
I didn't buy anything. I might buy something tomorrow, but
I am attempting to not buy anything. Which I
You have
saw
too much
this.
stuff.
I have so much stuff. I don't have enough time. So I've been working on destashing rather than stashing. But there was Rewa Station. Is it? Oh, I can't remember her name. Is it Paulina?
I don't know.
I'll have to look.
If we find out, we can. I can write it on the screen.
I don't think it's in here. Oh, Patricia.
Ah.
Yeah.
Patricia.
And it's Gotland, and it's just locks, but she's washed them and hand picked them out. So there's just these beautiful, dark, really dark don't know how well that's going to pick up on the screen, but just some really gorgeous Gotland locks. So I just got 50 grams of this color. I mean, they're so soft for Gotland.
It's so soft.
So
they have a beautiful curl.
It's the pearl, called like a pearl crimp, I think. And so that's one of the colors. And then this one's even softer, believe it or not. So cute little bags, 50 grams. And I'm just gonna, I know it's so pretty. So I'll pull out some locks there.
Nice colors too.
I
There's
know,
like the brown
it's like an ashy, real ashy kind of gray with these beautiful brown tips.
Yeah.
And it's really soft. So I'm just going to, I might even just spin from the locks, just pick them apart into little fluffy clouds and spin them, or I might blend them with a little bit of something bouncier. But I mean, I saw some of the samples that were knitted in pure Gotland, and just the spinning and getting loft into the fiber and singles as the woman was spinning them. It's like it almost had a mohair look to it, and that's what I love about Gotland, is it can have a really beautiful halo. I could not resist the locks. There's something about fresh locks. Yeah.
So you would potentially spin them like that without putting them through your drum card?
Yeah.
And you wouldn't it wouldn't make the yarn super uneven? Or it would be kind of lumpy,
Well, for my skill level, it probably will be a little bit uneven. I'm not a super skilled spinner spinning from the lock. I don't even know that I'd spin from the cut end so much as just fluff them up into like a little cloud. Pull out some of the short, that one's not actually that short, but
almost like a woolen prep kind of
yeah,
vibe.
it does. That one's a little bit matted there,
yeah.
but just, open it out, and then you just have a little cloud to spin from, and just start spinning from it, and you can start spinning a nice single from that, and out it comes, right?
Ooh,
so it just keeps, and then you get that nice almost lofty woolen spun look, feel. So yeah, it'll have some nice air in it. So that's what I got, and I'm gonna try my darndest not to get anything else, but if I do, it'll be back at the same vendor. Some beautiful things in there, and it's just fun to see what was at the just the different stalls and what people have been getting up to. But that one for me was like, whoa, so tactile.
Same.
Yeah.
Because I think you and I are both similar, where like the longer we've been knitting, the more we're into more rustic wools, more natural wools. Plus we both spin.
Yeah.
And I think when you spin, you start to think about yarn differently. Like I think a lot of us start out with the really soft merinos and the superwash and the really super, super soft kind of stuff.
Yeah, if we are exposed to the mainstream kind of knitting scene, that's definitely what we start with, unless, someone is coming from a more, I don't know, farmy. Yeah, in which case they might do a lot of rustic yarns, and, but I think you're right. It's overall, it seems to be that merino, superwash merino, 4-ply or DK, and
certainly in New Zealand. Like
that's true.
Because there's definitely people obviously from other countries who do grow up more accustomed to rustic wools. Even like Shetland. I mean, the whole theme of this retreat is Shetland wools, which are rustic, but they're amazing. And I think that what you also come to realize if you knit a lot and you use the things you knit is that as lovely as a super soft merino or merino silk thing is, when you have garments out of it, they can pill a lot. They can get
they lose their structure.
Yeah, they drape too much. They can lose their original sort of shape. And then when you use non-superwash, I have gotten more and more into non-superwash yarns as I go, and they hold their structure amazingly, and they last so well over time. Yeah. And a rustic yarn also isn't going to pill as much, so you're going to get these like, hard wearing, lovely, farmy kind of things.
Yeah, I think it's over the years, what I've learned is what things I like to knit, what things that I've knit that I enjoy wearing, and some of those, if it's a t-shirt or a camisole, then definitely something soft next to skin soft is, that's where the merino and the silk and the linen sort of blends come in, and they're really wonderful. But for cardigans, vests, I mean, even hats, I love the structure of a lofty woolen spun, slightly more rustic, like either made, maybe it's a Shetland wool, or, I mean, even I love Romney, but I like Romney again mixed with a different fiber. So it has more bounce. Spinning really is the thing that has gotten me into understanding fiber a lot more, and what I enjoy spinning with and knitting. And yeah, it's a great way to become familiar with the characteristics of different types of yarn or fiber.
Yeah.
Really from different animals, you know, not just sheep, but yeah.
And how you spin it. Like I find as well, knitting with my Handspun is teaching me how to be a better spinner.
Yeah.
Not that I'm a very good spinner. I'm a beginner spinner, but I can make yarn that I like to use, and then I can produce something out of it. So that's great. But people who are like really good spinners, I mean, they have such control over the thickness of the yarn, the twist. I don't have that.
It's almost like they have an understanding of how to engineer yarn.
Yeah.
And
that's a whole nother level.
Pretty awesome, actually. It's something definitely to aspire to, if that's a goal, right? Because that's the other thing too, is some of us just love to spin for the sake of spinning. And I know tons of spinners who actually don't even knit. They just love the process of working with sheep fiber.
I can't imagine not getting to knit my own Handspun. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine it so much. I almost knocked over my teeth.
What a travesty.
I'm so upset by that.
Yeah. But, you know, like, I understand it. I mean,
I get it.
Spinning is a whole different experience to knitting. You know, you really can get into that more somatic. It feels like just you don't have to pay attention to what you're doing so much, as because it starts to come by feel instead, so you don't have to look at it so much. And whereas knitting sometimes takes brain space, and I don't know, the end product of knitting a garment, and you're worried about how it's going to fit and that kind of a thing. Spinning can just be, you wind up with a beautiful skein of yarn. And I think I am guilty of not knitting enough of my Handspun. I mean, I've really hardly knit any of my Handspun. I just love the process of prepping it, spinning it, and then I give a lot of it away.
I have some that you've given me.
I know a lot of people have some that I've given them. So yeah, I think that's a goal for me. And you continue to tell me, Bonnie, you got to knit with your Handspun.
You got to. It's such a good feeling. Although watchers of this podcast will have seen my Alpine Bloom shirt, which is your Handspun, and it's so pretty.
Yeah, it is that. Yeah. I'm so glad you didn't frog that one.
No,
I was like,
it.
don't frog that one.
I'm glad I didn't. Yeah, that's a good one. So what do you think about Greytown?
Oh, I've always loved Greytown. It's just a cute little place, and it's so close to where I live. It's a 40-minute drive, so we're over the hill here a lot. The weather is always better than Wellington. It's great for like venue space. I think it's underrated. Just lots of awesome little eateries and places to go. Lots of cool little shops. I really like Greytown. It's quite cute.
Oh yeah, I should explain a little, because I think the theme of this video is to try to give people maybe a little bit of a feeling for what this Wairarapa Wool Weekend is like if you're not here. Basically, this is the first one ever. So James Herbison, who owns a yarn shop here.
Is it Joy of Yarn?
I think Joy of Yarn. Yeah. Which I haven't been to yet, but I think we might be able to go this weekend if they're open. He just started this event this year, and he was kind of inspired by Shetland Wool Week, which is really cool. So there's a hat design that he created that's really beautiful. Maybe I'll insert a photo if I take a photo. I know a lot of people, I think, knit that hat leading up to this so that they could, have that sort of hat, which was part of this whole thing. I didn't sign up to come down here until about less than a week ago. So I didn't know any of that, and I
registered
didn't
yesterday.
Have time to,
I'm very excited to go.
I was like, I'm coming down here, Bonnie. Come with me.
Yeah.
It's a good excuse to come and hang out with Bonnie. But basically, James is starting this, and I think he's going to keep it going every other year, something like that. And hopefully it just grows and grows. New Zealand doesn't have a lot of big wool festivals. We have a couple of sort of big trading ones like Wool Fest.
Yeah, and Fibre Fest in Wellington.
Yeah,
and Wool Feast in Christchurch.
And Fibretron in Hamilton.
Yeah.
So we have a whole calendar of events, but they're mostly one-day trading events. Yeah. What we don't have a lot of are these multi-day ones with
Unwind
retreats.
Retreat.
Oh yeah, Unwind would be the other retreat one. I've never been to it because it's also not in Auckland, so I would have to fly there. Yeah. But you've been, have you?
Oh, I loved it. I've been twice. Yeah.
But I think that's only going to happen every other year now. So I think the idea is James' event fits in on the alternate years, and then the Unwind one fits in the other years, so that every year there's something.
I think what's cool about a sort of retreat style, where you're staying for a few days, is that you get to know people. You get to sit back and kind of relax a little bit and take things in. Whereas the one-day yarn events can just feel like there's a lot of pressure, not just for traders. Like it's a lot of pressure to set up, you know, to get to the event, to set up for the event, and then to deal with the influx of like everybody's there. They know it's only for like 5 hours, 6 hours, and so like it's like Woolfest is just chaos. It's chaos. Awesome chaos,
but it's a whirlwind.
Yeah, and you kind of don't know what hit you.
No, it's like you've been swept up inside of a hurricane, and then all of a sudden you land on or a tornado. That's what I'm thinking of, the twirly thing. You land on the other side, and you're like, "Whew, what just happened?"
And the people who attend and shop feel the same way. You know, you're kind of trying to get through like layers of people to get to stuff on tables, and so it can feel a bit frantic. Whereas I just loved walking in today, and even though we missed yesterday, we came in sort of on the second day. It's just a vibe. Like it's a really, and James has done a really awesome job. Just it just feels cohesive and it's organized. Just warm. It's organized. It's warm.
It's chill.
It's chill.
Oh wait, we said warm and chill, which are opposite temperatures.
Yes, that's true.
Similar vibes.
It's a paradox, but you know,
warm and chill.
Yeah, really lovely. So, and I like that you can go in, you can look at the different stalls, vendors, and then you can sort of go and do some knitting, and then you can come back in, and it just doesn't feel like this frantic rush. And if you want to like plan what you might want to, buy from a vendor, you can do that. There's time, and you can really sit and like feel, through all the different fibers. I'm such a tactile person. For me, it's all just, I want to get my hands in and feel things and see the colors and not just sort of like grab because you're worried that something's going to go quickly on the table, and then you're like, oh, actually I wanted to get that thing instead, and I don't have enough meterage, or bought one too many skeins of that and wish I had gotten that. So it does allow for that, really itchy eyeball all of a sudden. You can leave that in. Okay.
The raw uncut.
Oh, Bonnie unfiltered. It's great. Good time. But yeah, that's what I like about it, is the retreat style does have just a more chill vibe. It's
more
good.
Time, like you say, to actually chat with people.
Yeah.
I was chatting with a couple of people today who I normally only see them at Woolfest.
Yeah.
And when we're at Woolfest, I mean, we have a stall there. And as you say, that day is crazy. So it's a bunch of like, hello, hi, great to see you. How are you? Okay, bye. And then you don't see them again. Because it's so crazy
when you know they've made a trip to Auckland, that maybe they're from Christchurch or they're from somewhere else in the country, and suddenly you have these people who are really excited to see you, and you just feel this pressure of like, I really want to catch up with this person. I want to hear how they're going, and it's just a quick 5-second like hug and then straight back into the chaos. It can feel a bit overwhelming. Yeah.
Sometimes I wish Woolfest was 2 or 3 days long for the sake of how wonderful it is and how amazing it is. But for Margaret's sake, who works so hard organizing it, if it was more than 1 day, I'm sure it would just be too much.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm so impressed by anyone who can organize an event that huge.
That big.
That's just...
It's enormous.
I can't imagine being in charge of that.
Yeah.
So thank you, Margaret, for your sacrifice, and James, who is organizing this, and anyone who organizes anything, like, whew, good on you. But I think it's great. We wanted to like support the fact that we have an event like this happening in New Zealand. This is the first one, but hopefully it just grows and grows, and more people hear about it. I mean, we have Gudrun, who's here from, well, I think she lives in the U.S., but she's Scottish originally. Yeah. So she's here from wherever she's coming from.
All the way with her family.
Yeah, a big trip here with her family, which is also, I mean, it's a great place to come with your family. New Zealand is, beautiful. And she has some family who live in different parts of the country, but, it's cool to have people like that coming from other places to share their heritage and their knowledge. So that was cool for me I learned a little bit about Shetland stuff today. Yeah. I think I would have learned more if I was there yesterday. Yesterday was like the all-day masterclass.
Oh, yeah.
But it was Thursday. I couldn't come down. Yeah. So I'm glad we're here.
Yeah. Fun to be able to just share in a fun weekend of wool and the stuff that we love. So
that's it. That was day one. I think tomorrow is a little bit of a longer day, I guess. I want to actually show... do you have anything else you want to say about today, or about this event, or about our day?
It's, been a highlight. It's great. Can't wait to do it again.
It's good to see you.
Yeah, I know. It was fun.
That's the best part. That's the real best part. I want to show what I'm knitting though, because speaking of handspun,
I'm going to go around the back.
Yeah,
so I don't get my butt in the camera.
Okay, so I want to show what I'm knitting, which I haven't showed on the podcast before, but on my last podcast I did show the yarn that I spun, because this is my hand spun. And when I was on that podcast, I showed it like all big and loose. Now it's in this crazy tight cake because Katrine has the most industrial style cake maker. Feel how dense this thing is. It's like 200 grams.
Good weapon.
Yeah. So this is my like cake of Handspun. And I think I can probably make 2 pairs of socks out of this easily. So this first pair I'm going to make for Bonnie because your feet are a little bit bigger than mine, and these have ended up a little bit bigger. Well, my needle broke. So
Casualty.
I know. This has never happened to me before, ever. I would like to say that very clearly. I love Chow Gu. I use these needles to death. The number of socks I've knit on this pair is probably a lot. And for the first time in my life, I straight up broke it. So I'm going to try to figure out if I have another 2.5 millimeter. No, I have the thing. I just need the cable, or buy one from someone so I can keep knitting this sock while I'm down here so we can make sure it fits you perfectly. But in the meanwhile, this is how it's looking so far.
Such pretty yarn.
It's pretty. It's a little plumper than a sock weight. That's why it's ending up a little bit larger than I expected. It's just a little bit thicker because, like I said, I'm not a great spinner. I can't really super accurately control how thick my handspun is going to be. But I still think it's lovely. I think the sock is going to be lovely. It's going to be warm.
I love how handspun gradients like that.
They're the most fun. And knitting with your handspun is like such an adventure. You don't know what color's coming.
Yeah.
And so that's what I've been working on. And if I can sort out another needle, then I'll continue working on that this weekend. But yeah, it's a good travel project. And I'll knit on my hap kerchief as well.
Kerchief, there you go.
What do you have with you?
Well, thanks for asking.
Yeah, you're welcome.
This has sat for way too long. So when did you design, this is Alana's pattern. When did you design the Wonderland shawl?
Oh,
a year and a bit ago? It wasn't this past Christmas, but the year before.
It would have been for the previous Advent.
Yeah.
So yeah, like a year and a half.
2023
Yeah.
Advent. For Prosper yarn, so that's you designed it in Prosper. So this is just...
I'll insert some kind of photo. Or something.
Yeah, lots of leftovers from previous projects of random things that I have. Some of it's fluff, some of it's DK. So I'm holding like 4-ply and fluff, and then doing some in DK, like Blueface Leicester DK, and then some, there's Surrey silk fluff, there's mohair silk fluff down here. So I started this with great vigor, and then life got really, really crazy. Yeah. And so as things fall by the wayside when life gets crazy, I put it down and I'm trying to figure out where.
Well, I'll help you figure out where you are.
I'm with the designer, and so she's going to help me figure out where I'm at.
We'll figure it out, and then we'll get you back on track.
Because I really want to knit it. I'm knitting it in a whole bunch of, it's just like leftover, not leftover necessarily. Some of them are just ones that I've dyed. It's pretty much all stuff that I've dyed. So it'll kind of fade and do different things. I've got some light bits that I'll put with some of the mohair.
Grab something.
Yeah, grab some. There's a lot. There's a lot. It's a whole nest of... That's Surrey silk fluff in the same similar color, but that's mohair. And like
this feels like possum yarn.
That one is a paw.
Feels like cozy sock.
It's cozy sock. Oh, good call. Ooh, someone might be a yarn shop owner or something.
Yep.
That one is a Blueface Leicester in a colorway that I dyed.
This I like too.
That is.
Ooh, let me guess.
No, you won't. But try. Oh, I can't wait for you to get it wrong.
But I think I know what it is, but I can't remember what it's...
Okay, what country does the yarn come from?
I think it comes from... I think I do know what it is. Is it Blacker Yarns?
No, it's not.
No. Oh, I think I know what it is.
She doesn't.
Okay, tell me, and then I'll tell you if I already know.
Okay, it's spun in Devon.
Wait. Can you tell me the letter it starts with?
J is the mill that it comes from.
Jen's...
No.
No. Okay. Hold on.
Okay, come on. I have faith in you.
Jagger spun.
No, it's...
It feels familiar.
Yeah. Okay, now I have to remember the actual base.
John Arbin.
Yeah!
No, that's what I thought all along.
Oh, come on now. You can't say that now.
I couldn't remember what it was called. Okay, we're going to cut this so I was right all along.
No, we're not going to.
This is John Arbin.
Hey, now.
4-ply.
That's cheating.
I can edit myself to look good.
Anyway, it's a 4-ply, and I used it along with another color. And I knit your pattern again. Actually, this is a leftover from that. And then Helene's Happy Go Knitty.
The Lothbrook, which was
That's
Helene's
right.
yarn.
Yeah. And so I think the Lothbrook was a gold maybe from Helene. And then I used a brown and then that one. I think it's like Devonia or, oh, no, it's Harvest.
Oh,
Harvest Hues. Harvest Hues. Ha! Remembered.
Okay.
She's going to edit that out. Don't cut. I can't even remember what the breed sheep is that's in it. But anyway, it's Harvest Hues, and it's like wheat or rye or something like that.
It's really soft.
It's really lovely. Anyway, it's kind of like taupe. It's like a truffle, so it's got that slight purpley kind of hue to it.
Bonnie's color sense is like, I think she has the most accurate eyeballs because you can hold up like 3 different versions of plum. And she'd be like, oh, that one's chocolate plum, and that one's raspberry plum.
Yellow in it. And no, that's a red based. And
that one's yellow, and I'm like, I don't see any yellow.
Blessing and a curse to have highly sensitive. Yeah.
But I think we have the same taste in color. Lots of deep, moody,
autumn
dark,
kind of tones.
warm tones.
Yeah. Like burnt orange and mustard rather than yellow. And yeah, so anything, well, the way that it is in dyeing is that it's colors with black added. So it's like you might have a secondary color, like, so primary is like red, yellow, blue, and then your secondary is purple, orange, green. And then you have tertiary colors, which is where you mix your secondaries together to get a tertiary. So you'll mix like your purple and your orange, or your, purple and green. And then you get these more muted out hues, and then you add black to it. And the black is the key. So that's why, you know how like when you have over dye, anybody who's seen like yarns where they're dark and moody and you go, oh, I really like that. And oftentimes it might be like a darker, like a colored merino or a colored Corriedale that starts off as like a gray or a brown, and then you dye over it, and it gives it that depth. So you
or
can
a possum blend, because the black.
Possum, exactly. The possum blends give that sort of natural darkness already. So instead of adding black, it's already sitting naturally in the yarn. So anyway, little dye 101.
Little tidbits of wisdom from a famous dyer.
Not famous dyer. Oh, you got to edit that out.
Okay.
a retired dyer. I shouldn't say
From
that.
an active dyer.
I know, I'm just taking a break, guys. And
you dye whenever you want, and we will love your yarn.
How about a burnt out dyer? Should we say that? A person who loves to dye, but has just had a heck of a year.
You have 3 children.
Yes.
You are allowed.
I know.
Is this possum?
This is possum. So this is the Wild Earth beautiful possum in the 4-ply. And I dyed it this awesome Kermit the Frog green. I know, it's really fun.
That's nice.
It's really fun.
Yeah.
And then just the natural.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I have the pattern in here, because I think I'm using a digital copy. And it is called, I want to say it's like the Blomstra hat, and I cannot remember the name. We'll have to add it in.
Yeah, if you find out later, I can insert a photo. I always do.
So Blomstra hat. It's so beautiful, and this is only just the very beginning. So this gets folded over to have like a nice little tidy bottom, and then it's these gorgeous floral. There's flowers and viney kind of bits of the flowers, like leaves that grow up, and so you have this hat just with this beautiful botanical color work. So beautiful. Very enjoyable actually to knit. I can't say that color work I'm very confident in. But
your tension looks great.
Yeah, my tension's usually okay. It's more, I find it really awkward. I can't hold one color in one hand and one in the other very well. So I've dropped my yarn, so it takes forever.
Yeah.
Like your ombeline cowl.
Yeah.
I just drop the yarns, pick up the other one.
I used to do that. I do now knit with 2 hands, but even when I used to do the dropping and picking up, it took a little longer, but you can create such beautiful things,
And it's my tension. That's part of it, is that I can get exact tension if I drop it, whereas I just don't get the best tension yet by doing continental in the one hand. So it does take me longer, but I'd rather at the end of the day have better tension, and it may take me longer than something that potentially is quicker, but the tension's off, especially with Fair Isle.
Yeah.
So. Or feral knitting, as my mom used to call it. Anyway, so that's that. That's a tiny little bit of progress.
I love it.
Yeah, evidence that I still actually knit.
Still knit.
I do. It's a miracle.
We're gonna figure out where you are on that shawl.
I know.
I'm gonna have to knit something else while I figure out what to do about my needle. But I have some other. Obviously, I have my Happerchief. I brought. Let's see. I came down to Greytown for 2.5 days.
Yes.
and I brought, I think, 6 projects.
I was going to say, surely
Just
you've got
in case.
more.
I was packing last night. I was like, is 7 too many for 2.5 days? Yeah, but I still have 6.
Yeah.
So
Just take the number of days that you're staying somewhere and multiply it by 3, and that's how many projects that you need.
Yeah, because you never know if your needle's going to break.
Exactly.
Imagine if I had only brought this sock.
It'd be pretty sad right now.
I wouldn't have anything to knit.
Yeah.
Tragic. That's our first day at the Wairarapa Wool Week.
That's right. It's fantastic.
And we had a good day.
Great job, James.
Thank you, James.
We love it.
Shout out to James. And I think my plan is to buy some from Wairarapa Station tomorrow.
Yeah, you have to go.
Not the fiber, because I have truly kilos of fiber that I have to spin, but they actually sell, it's very indulgent, but they sell handspun yarn.
Yeah.
And I have bought some before. Lucy from our knit night, she bought several of the natural colors of handspun from Wairarapa Station, and she just made the West Knits like Vertices Unite. You know that one?
I love that shawl.
And it's so beautiful in all these colors of handspun. It's like the loftiest, wooliest thing, and I am very inspired by Lucy. So I'm going to pick up, I think I'm going to definitely buy some of that handspun.
Have you ever knit that pattern?
No, but I've always wanted to.
It's one of the, I've loved knitting it, and I can't wait to knit another. I just have to do it in a bigger gauge, because I wound up, like, speaking of kerchiefs, a Vertices kerchief.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, my tension was, so I gave it away to someone who's smaller than me.
Yeah, I would err on the side. With shawls, I often go up multiple needle sizes, because I like my shawls to be like loose and squishy, not all tight and dense.
I knit the small size, because I think that one actually comes in 2 sizes.
It does.
And I knit it in 4-ply on, and my friend was like, Bonnie, you always knit tight. I'm like, I know, I do. So I should have gone up a needle size or 2, but that's my only little piece of, tidbit of info on that pattern. It's awesome. The construction is really neat, keeps you engaged, but it's also got areas where it's mindless knitting and garter, and it's such a good pattern. So
Fibre has made, I think, at least 2 of them.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to. But pro tip, Stephen West is a very loose knitter. So when I do his patterns, I always go up 2 needle sizes.
Okay.
Have you ever? Yeah, because if you've ever watched his YouTube tutorials or videos, you can just see he's a very loose knitter.
You can't even see him knit, because he's like, he's like speed knitter. Yeah.
But then, because his shawls are always massive, and then a lot of people knit them and go, it's not as big as I thought. But that's because a lot of us are not gauge swatching for shawls, myself included. Don't have time for that. But I know that his gauge, 100% guilty. I rarely swatch for anything unless it's my design. Yeah. But his shawls end up huge. That's because he's a very loose knitter. So I just always go up like multiple sizes. Yeah. And then I get a sort of a looser, squishier, the right kind of look for a shawl. I mean, interestingly enough, I was interested in this. This handkerchief, I don't think I'm saying it right. But this project that we're doing with Gudrun, we're using Spindrift, Jameson's of Shetland, and that's a 4-ply yarn. We're using a 5mm needle, and she says for lace shawls, she likes to use that big of a needle on a 4-ply yarn. Yeah, so it's quite a loose gauge.
The thing about that yarn too, though, is it does have the ability to kind of fill itself out. Yeah, I think it's one of the reasons it's so good for color work, is it has that capacity to kind of fill in the spaces. Yeah,
it's woolen spun, which is like, most of my favorite yarns are woolen spun. Yeah. I just love how they behave. I'm using a 4.5 because, not because of gauge, but mainly because I saw the shape of Gudrun's sample and I wanted mine to just be a little tighter onto my neck. So I just decided I'm going to go down half a needle size, and hopefully it ends up good. So.
Very cute.
Great first day. High five.
High five. Woo!
See y'all tomorrow.
Cup of tea.
Had a tea. We feel good. Yeah. We're going to do some knitting.
Yeah.
And we're going to check back in tomorrow.
Alana's going to rescue me in my project.
Yay. All right, buddy.
Okay.